I just wanted to say thank you so much, every single one of you, for being here and for everything that you're doing. I'm sure that all of you were watching Question Time last night. I hope you were, because Jeremy was absolutely outstanding on it. And he really showed to all of us exactly why we're all fighting to vote Labour. Not only because we've got a man who's got such compassion, such decency, integrity, honesty, who is the only person I could see on that programme last night who was fit to be Prime Minister, in particular in comparison to Johnson, who started lying as soon as he opened his mouth. But also the policies that we've got. We are so proud to have those policies that are going to make such a tremendous difference to everyone who's homeless, to people who've got children, to people who care for the elderly, all the vulnerable in our society, to make sure that we're safe by investing in the police and above all investing in our NHS. And I think one thing that is so interesting and exciting to me is to see that despite the fact that the Tories have split our country and our communities and all the nations that make up the UK right down the middle with Brexit, that whereas at the beginning of the election campaign Brexit was the #1 issue that people were concerned about, polling is now showing it's sliding down and the NHS is climbing higher and higher and higher. And that is something that we need to continue not to exploit, because it's not exploiting it, but to highlight with people, to let them know what's happening to our NHS. And the only way we can make our NHS safe is to have a Labour government. But we're not going to get those messages about without all of you doing that. You know, knocking on the doors, speaking to people. You're our message carriers. You're the people who are doing the day-to-day campaigning, and each and every one of you are absolutely incredible. Because I know it's not an easy thing, especially when you first start out to go out, and you'll get hostility sometimes, and you'll, maybe having people argue backwards and forwards with you. But without people like you, we're not going to win this election. So I'm incredibly grateful to every single one of you. And of course, we need brilliant candidates as well, and we've got 2 here today, which is absolutely fantastic. So Tamworth and West Bromwich East. I don't know if we've got any other candidates in the room. No, we haven't. But you've got a brilliant set of candidates up here in the West Midlands. And I know that, together we're going to make sure that we transform not just the West Midlands, but the whole of our nations. And that's so, so important. And I think the other thing that's really important as well is to make sure that we heal not just the divisions that have been caused, amongst all of our towns and cities, but within different communities, with the disgraceful racism that we've seen from the Tories, splitting people, dividing them against each other, is absolutely shocking. And having a Prime Minister, or an ex-Prime Minister I should say, because he's not Prime Minister at the moment, he's just a candidate, but an ex-Prime Minister who is willing to say such appalling things as he has, and to tolerate the racism and in particular the Islamophobia, but also anti-Semitism in his own party, is absolutely disgraceful. And yes, we have had an issue where we have had some people who are anti-Semitic in our party, but we are dealing with it. So don't believe what you read in the papers where they say we do nothing, or that Jeremy doesn't care about it, because he's one of the biggest anti-racists that we have in our whole movement. But more importantly, he's a socialist. He cares about everybody, and when he talks about being there for the many, not the few, he really means it. And we've seen some incredible examples recently of how the Tory party is funded. 1 in 3 billionaires donate money to the Tory party, and they're way ahead of us in terms of funding. But the one area where they're really falling behind, and they always have and always will, is with people on the ground. Ordinary people who actually can resonate on the doorsteps. If I had a choice between any of you coming to my doorstep and I was non-political, or someone like Jacob Rees-Mogg, I think I know who I might listen to and who I might relate to a little bit more than that. So thank you very much. I'm really, really grateful to everything you do, and hopefully I'm going to be up here again before the end of the campaign, but it's great to see you all. So thank you very much.